Hello everyone, thanks for joining me today. I'm Navid, and today we're going to have a beginner Oud lesson. I want to let you know about some things that are happening this month, and lots of cool things going on. And it sounds like a broken guitar. Why does it sound like a broken guitar? This is a little story that I like to tell sometimes about my own Oud learning process. The first year or so when you're learning Oud, when you're playing Oud, it kind of sounds like a broken guitar. When I was learning Oud a long time ago now, I was playing for about a year, and I went to visit my sister at her house. I brought my Oud along, and I was practicing, and and it was a really bad Oud, like really poor quality Oud. It just didn't, I mean, I wasn't a good player at that time, but I was practicing. I was making progress. Anyway, she says, it sounds like a broken guitar. And that story has always I've always remembered that story, because you suck at first, and it doesn't sound very good. It's hard to make a good sound out of the oud. That's one of the biggest challenges with playing the oud, is that you've got to be able to make this thing sing, and your fingers do a lot of the work. And so it takes some time for your body to adapt to the instrument, for you to get comfortable playing the instrument, and then for you to actually play something that sounds nice. So hopefully this will inspire you to practice a little bit more, or more consistently at least. Even if some days you don't have much time, then maybe you can spend a little bit of time. Even 5-10 minutes goes a long way when you're at this stage. But yeah, let me know in the chat how long you've been playing Oud for. I'd love that. Really helps to frame this lesson that I'm doing for you today. I'm gonna go over the basics though, of course, for beginners out there, and I want to announce a few things that are happening. Let's see here. So first things first, my tuning. So we got C up here, the first string, and then we have G, and then we have D, then we have A, F, and C. All right. All right. I'd love to hear from you guys. So please say something in the chat. Let me know how long you've been playing Oud for, or if you even have an Oud. A few opportunities this month to get into if you want to learn Oud, or if you want to buy a new Oud. So please let me know what your situation is. That way I can help you better. Let's see here. So I'll let you guys get any questions you have down, or let me know, introduce yourself, let me know how long you've been playing Oud. I want to share something with you which I thought was kind of funny. My friend John Vergara, he's an Oud maker in the state of New York, and today he went live on Facebook, and he went into his backyard and started disposing of some of his soundboards for his old Ouds that he's been making over the years. He's collected 13 years worth of soundboards from old Ouds that he's worked on, and either the soundboard failed, or the sound was just not good. And now he was burning them in his backyard. So just enjoy this little video of this Oud graveyard, as he calls it. And that'll give you some time to get your questions down about learning the Oud, or any of the information that will help me. Hey Carol, great to see you. 2 years, yes, very good. All right, Justin, Maxi Raider. Yeah, that's a good question. Okay, I like this sight read fast enough. Okay, I'm gonna unpack that one definitely today. Justin, good to see you. All right, not a lot of practice lately. That's fine. That happens. Life happens. Yeah, I haven't been as active as I've wanted to on here, making videos and stuff. I've got like a backlog of stuff that I've got doing because, of course, life and family and all that. But now I'm gonna be getting back into it. Some things are gonna get rolling. Okay, so this guy has not lit the Oud soundboards on fire yet. And let's see here. Yes, this is the soundboard bonfire. Alright, let's just fast forward a bit here. Oh, there we go. Yeah. 13 years worth collection of soundboards all being burned. Nice little bonfire. Okay, well, enough of that. Okay, thanks for letting me know in the comments there what's going on with you in the Oud right now. Last YouTube video I did, I showed you how to put some stickers on your fingerboard here. This is really cool, I think, anyway. Really would help beginners, would have helped me a lot in the beginning. But you got to know how to use them properly, and you got to know, you're looking from this angle, so it's kind of difficult to figure out where to put your finger, but this helps. This has at least some signposts along the way. Okay, let's get into the basics. So you want to get, when you're holding the Oud, you want to get your right knee up. This is very important. Get it up so that your Oud is at your chest, more or less, and then you want to bring your arm around the back of the Oud, around here, and you want to get that crease, the line, the edge of the Oud into the forearm. That's ideal there. And your arm comes down straight here like this. And don't worry about the rishi right now. Just make a fist with your hand and it comes parallel to the strings. And we're in this zone here. This is quite ideal. Your shoulder is kind of supporting the back of the Oud there. Your chest is also supporting the back of the Oud. And you can then adjust with your left hand the angle and how you're holding. You can create this pocket at the side of your body here to fit the Oud nicely. And then you can let go of this left hand and you can hold the Oud like this. This is going to take some time. The Oud is an uncomfortable instrument to hold and it takes a lot of time there. The left hand comes and gives the fingerboard a handshake here. And there's always some contact between the index finger and the bottom of the fingerboard. You see that there? One moment here, let me get rid of this window. Okay. All right. So the thumb and the index finger kind of follow each other along the fingerboard, like that. All right, and let's talk about the risha. The risha, you can imagine pinching something with your index finger, the tip of your index finger and your thumb. So pinch the tip of your risha like that, leave about ½ an inch sticking out, and then make sure that the risha is sticking out between the tip of the finger and the knuckle, like so, and then curl everything around. This finger sticks out a little bit from the rest of the fingers. Get the other fingers curled in there, and then come to your position. And now you're ready to play. And look at the wrist movement. Wrist movement and the forearm work together, and you bring your hand up, let go, bring your hand up, let go. So your first lesson that I usually show people is to try stroking the first string. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the first string, number 1. And create a like a pulse. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then play on that pulse. 1, 2, 3, 4. Look at the wrist movement. Don't worry if you hit stray strings. Don't worry too much about where your risha is going, like where the tip of the risha is going. Try not to scrape the soundboard too much. Now go to the next string and something interesting happens. When you do the movement, I should use a different color risha here so you can see. So here we go, white risha, you can see this much better. Now when you come down, the risha gets stuck on the string below. That's pretty important. Make sure you're using the tip of your fingers here. Tip of your meaty part of your thumb, make sure there's a nice curve in the thumb, and the tip of your finger. Just throw that down. Let the weight of your hand do some of the work. Take a look at that wrist movement. Look how high my hand comes. This is a very basic movement and it's the default stroke. Down, nice strong downstroke. Go to the next string. You want to throw your weight into the string. You're hitting the strings. You're not plucking the strings. Throw the weight in there, and that way you're going to cut through both of the strings. Ooh, my foot has fallen asleep. I've been crossing my legs here to get a good view. Give me a second here. I'm just going to check the comments. All right. All right. Yes. Okay. All right, back. Okay. All right, so since there's just a few people here, if you guys have any questions or something you want to learn on the oud or technique or any kind of questions you have, but I want to kind of leave the floor open. Okay, let's first talk about the left hand, and then we're going to answer this question. This is a really good question, Max the Raider, that you asked about sight reading. Okay, I want to unpack that, so that's going to be a good one to talk about. Okay, so left hand, there's two main positions that you can play with on the oud. Now, look at the white circles, the white stickers on the fingerboard. The first position, the basic position that you learn when you learn Arabic style oud playing is your first finger, second finger, third finger, fourth finger on each semitone. So let's say you got C here, then you got your first finger on C sharp, then you got your second finger on D, then you got your third finger on E flat, then you got your pinky finger on E natural. So you see how that corresponds to the first white sticker, second white sticker, third, and fourth, right? So you can practice just you activating each of these fingers. Down on the open string, down first finger, second finger, keep all the fingers down, third finger, fourth finger. This is very good practice to help to try to get your hand to do the stretching. It's going to be very difficult at first. So one other way to incrementally go there is to activate each finger one at a time. Now second finger, go to the open string again, third finger, And it might not sound like mine. You might not be hitting the notes properly. That's okay. Don't worry about it too much. Just get used to doing this movement. Putting the finger down. The finger has to go all the way down to the wood. You got to press the string down to the wood for those beginners out there. Okay, so another exercise to do. First finger, then third finger. So open string, down, then first finger, third finger. Keep the first finger down when you go to the third finger. That's really important. Then lift it off, then come back. Just open. So for bare beginners, this is really important to get this movement happening. 1, 3, and then now let's do 2 and 4. This is going to be difficult. So open string, 2, 2 and 4. So we've got C, D, E. C, D, E. Second white sticker, fourth white sticker. Now go backwards. 4, 2, open. 4, 2, open. Now I want to show you the second position. Second position is where you put your index finger where the second white sticker is, the D note there. So this allows you to reach higher on the fingerboard with the pinky. So we're going to do that same thing, but using fingers 1 and 3. And back. So this is the basics of the left hand. Just a few little basic exercises that you can try. Now let's go to your questions. These are really interesting here. Okay, I want to talk about the sight reading, fast enough or not. It's the same problem holding me back from clarinet, piano, and other instruments. Okay, that's a interesting thing. So it does take some daily practice to get better at it. And when you're switching from different instruments like that, of course, it might be harder. I noticed over the last, I guess, 5 years or so, really focusing on oud, that my sight reading has gotten a lot better when I've just focused on one instrument. That has helped me a lot. Now, when it comes to the oud though, and Middle Eastern music, now when it comes to music in general, not just Middle Eastern music, it's important to remember that sight reading is not all that important. You shouldn't be letting that hold you back. You should also try developing your ear. And when you're able to develop both of these at the same time concurrently, then you'll be able to, I think, progress faster. In fact, the ear is more important than sight reading, in my opinion. But you got to use both tools as a musician if you want to learn quickly. Note reading is much faster than learning by ear, because you have to keep listening, keep rewinding, keep going back and forth to hear and make sure you've heard correctly, so that you can then translate it to what you're playing on the oud. So that's a really good question, but don't get caught up in the notes. Like, what I recommend is choose a song you really like, and if you're learning it with notes, that's great. Learn it. Then try to memorize it, and just really don't stop relying on the notes after a while. Choose a simple song, and a song you like, something catchy. It's really important to make sure that memory gets, it's like a muscle. You need to exercise it too. For myself, I don't have a lot of time to memorize, repertoire unless I've got a gig coming up or something. But so you gotta remember not to get lost in the notes sometimes. You gotta kind of take yourself back, listen to what you're trying to learn, find examples of it on YouTube or whatever, listen to it a lot, and get that melody in your head so that you're in the shower one day and that melody pops into your head. That's really important. That'll help you learn with the notes faster too. So I hope you try that out. Try a few different things. Don't get lost in the notes. Don't rely on them too much. They're just there for a memory aid. You have to kind of activate your memory and try to memorize as many of the phrases as possible, or at least the gist of it. Then reading the notes will come faster too. But yeah, it might be good to try not relying on the notes so much. Maybe try learning a song completely by ear and see how that goes. You may find that all of a sudden your note reading is better, or like another thing you can do is listen to the song a lot as well as following along with the notation. Then you can kind of see, okay, what's the difference between the recording and the notation, and then you'll start to make connections stronger, I think anyway. Yeah, but doing it a little bit every day and focusing on one instrument might help you in that regard. And that's just my take on it, but I think that'll help. All right, let's see here. How come when I play without the risha and just use my fingers, I have an easier time hitting the notes clearly? I'm assuming it has something to do with having control over the risha while hitting. That's a good question. I sometimes feel like when I play with my thumb or something, I feel like I kind of play better. Or like I feel like a more closer connection to the instrument. I don't know if that makes sense. Like I feel like I'm just kind of closer, like I have more contact. So you have to kind of, I think what's happening with that is you need to make a better effort to make the risha part of you. So that this, maybe you gotta warm up, do some warm-ups just with the right hand. And just do some simple things. Slowly speed up and slow down. And focus a bit more on the right hand perhaps to really make sure that this is comfortable. Also find a risha that you really like and stick to that one for a long time. Make it part of your hand. I think that might help bridge the connection a bit more. I've noticed that a lot of times too. Sometimes like finger picking, just especially back in the days when I was in high school and I'd play guitar, finger picking, I felt like it felt close to the instrument. I felt like I could respond better. I felt like there was more connection between my hands. So yeah, maybe focus a bit more on the right hand, get that going. Yeah, so let's see here. Maxerator, give me an idea. Maybe you could provide recordings along with your sheet music so people who can't sight read won't have a hard time hearing the melody when sight reading. Yes, that's why I usually redo the recordings in the videos, so that with my foundation program, all the videos should help you with that. But yeah, recordings are great. Especially my course, the simple Oud songs. I have all the recordings with that one as well. I should have at least all the music that I've taught should have the recording in the video. Maybe not just the audio file itself, but that's a great idea. Especially for actual songs, to actually have the audio and just solo Oud. That's something that I'm planning on doing with more coherent material that I put out. Yeah, so let's see here. Yeah, also on some of my new content, like Easy Oud Songs Volume 1 and 2, I also have the notation in the video embedded there so that you can follow along with what I'm doing in real time. You can see the notation there on top at the top of the video, and you see and hear what's happening at the same time. So that those courses, Easy Oud Songs Volume 1 and 2, they do have the notation embedded there as I'm playing so that you can follow along. That's very useful stuff. Yeah, so all my videos that I'm going to be creating forward will have that option to see the notes and to hear it at the same time. Yeah. That brings me to what I'll be talking about this month, the foundation program. This year marks the 10th year that Oud for Guitarists has been active. So this is the 10-year anniversary. I started this website back in 2013, and now it's 2023, and I haven't raised any of my prices in that period of time. And thanks for that. Yeah, it's a big milestone, 10 years happening. And so with all the things that are happening in the world, it's about time to raise prices. So this month, the foundation program, the price will go up a little bit. And some of my other courses, the prices will be going up. So if you do want to get in on the foundation program, I am doing a promo on that. The great thing about getting in on the foundation program right now is that if you don't already have it, is that you'll be able to get it in on the current price. The full four levels is $199, and then later on this year I'll be adding more content to the course, which of course you will get as part of the enrolling in the course. So that's going to be happening this month. Also, we're going to be also having a promo on this Oud, the Sultan Plus Oud, if you're looking to get yourself your second Oud or something like that, or if you want to move up from your beginner Oud, we'll be having a promo on that. So make sure you're on the newsletter. There's a link in the description to get on the newsletter to make sure you hear about that promo that's happening. Yeah, it's going to be on discount, and this Oud is fantastic. It's one of the best sellers of Sultan instruments, based in Izmir, Turkey. And Yildirim Palabiyik, who makes the high-end Ouds in that company, he also works on this Oud, tweaking the soundboard and putting some finer details, some finer touches on this Oud. So it's the entry-level Yildirim Palabiyik Oud, and I really love this Oud. The action and everything, and the Oud pegs, all the craftsmanship is really good, really excellent. It's definitely, after my Yildirim Palabiyik Oud, this one that's made solely by Yildirim. This is the next best Oud that I have, I'd say. So yeah, I really like this one. Highly recommend it. A lot of people have been enjoying this Oud, the ones that have ordered through me. And if you need an Oud plus foundation program, I also am going to be including the foundation program in every purchase of this Oud, because it is going to be around $1,000, and so that is a pretty big price, and I want to include the foundation program so that you have something to learn and to jump in if you're just starting out. So yeah, so that's an update from me. Yeah, there was another story I wanted to talk about. There was a thread on Mike Oud's forums, which I've been trying to look for this whole morning to share with you guys, to actually see the progress this individual made learning the Oud. So this was years ago that he posted this thread. He was looking for opinions on his Oud playing. This guy, and so he posted this thread on Mike Ouds, and he posted a video on YouTube asking people to go and look at this video and give him some tips, because he didn't really know what he's doing wrong, or he didn't really even wasn't even aware of how his Oud playing sounded, which is very interesting. Anyway, the reason he posted this was because his wife was saying that they didn't really like his Oud playing, and he felt like he needed some extra insight into his own playing. So anyway, he got a lot of good feedback some years ago about what to do. His intonation was quite off, and he wasn't really hitting the notes consistently. And it really did sound like a broken guitar, like an out-of-tune guitar and stuff. But there's a flip side to this story. Some years later, I don't remember if it was a couple years later or so, he went back to that thread and updated people, and posted a new video of his his oud playing. He really took the advice to heart that people were putting there, and he really started to really listen and use his ear more in order to, when he was studying and practicing oud. And his updated video that he showed of him playing the oud was just completely night and day. He was really playing the oud well after that period of time, after taking that feedback, really listening, really trying to work on his intonation. And I think learning something by ear as well as the notes, doing both is the way to go, especially relying on your ear more than the notes, for example. Notes are really great for professional musicians who have a gig coming up, who need to put the music there and read and play, or who need to learn music in a short period of time and not really rely too much on memory. That's what notation is great for. But as you're learning an instrument, you really have to use your ear a lot, because that's more musical, that's more organic, that's a more natural way of, it's a more musical way of playing and listening. You have to listen as much as you play. And so I wish I could find this thread, because I really wanted to share it with you. I will keep an eye out for it and bring it up again, because it's really an inspirational story. This guy has a YouTube channel. He plays all kinds of instruments too. And his oud playing from when he first posted that thread to a couple years later, when he went back to that thread, it was just fantastic. Like, really goes to show how, anyone can really do it if you have the right tools, the right awareness. So yeah, that's something I wanted to share with you. If you feel like you're, sucking at this time, don't worry. Like, it really, some of these issues, they do disappear on their own. And of course you have supports like myself out there. If you ever have questions, email me. If there's a course that you're interested in that I offer, let me know. And I'll tell you all about it if you need. And yeah, so there is hope. What is my point from all this? But yeah, I wish I could share those videos with you. But if I do, if I find them, I'll let you know. Yeah, so thanks so much for joining me today. Today's just going to be a short one. But if you have any questions, let me know. If you want to do so, this was just a beginner thing for beginners, but I know some of you guys have been playing oud for a long time. So just let me know if you have any questions. I'd be happy to take 5 or 10 minutes and show you a couple things that you're really itching to find out about. All right? So I'll give you a couple minutes to get those questions out. Any comments? One song that I'm working on right now is called Raksa Hanawim. This one is a really cool song that I teach to some of my students, but I'm kind of trying to play it again. This is interesting because I sight read this and I didn't really listen to the recordings, find any recordings for it for a while, and I realized when I just looked at the notes and played this song, it came out very different than the recordings that I've heard later on. Let me give you like an example of how I was playing it before and how I'm playing it now after listening to a real life version of this piece. That's why you got to use your ear as much or more than notation. So this is the tune. It's in Maqam Huzam or Maqam Sika. Of the song. So let me play it the way that with a more natural way based on how I've heard the song. forth and so on. I haven't learned this, I haven't memorized this piece. I'm just reading it and playing it. But you can see how when you just learn a piece by the notes, as I was playing it the first time, it's not the gist of it's not there. You know, the soul of it's gone. And this is one of the problems with, I don't know if it's a Middle Eastern music kind of thing or just a note reading thing. You have to listen to examples, and you have to know how to interpret a piece well, properly. And so when, let's say, this is a very big issue in Middle Eastern music, and this kind of disconnect between what you see on the page and what you actually play. So you definitely, the gist of it, what I'm trying to say is that you got to use your ear more. You've got to find examples of songs that you're trying to learn with the notes, and you have to listen to it. Rely more on the recording than you do on the notes. The notes are just there for a reminder, okay? That's really all it is. And it helps you learn the song a bit easier, a bit faster. And you know exactly what notes. You don't have to keep guessing. So I like using both at the same time. But you have to go by what you hear. That's the soul of everything comes in. And it sounds really great. So, yeah, that's one piece that I'm working on right now. Haven't worked through the whole thing, but I have recorded a version of it. And I'll be working on it a bit more because I haven't worked on it enough to really bring it out. This really is interesting for something that I'm interested in, like the historical Ottoman music, Ottoman repertoire that has been preserved through some of the historical figures like Dmitri Cantemir, and these kind of people who have notated old repertoire that we now have, and we have in Western notation. And interpreting them is very difficult because we have no recordings of them. So knowing the style and knowing how to interpret is such an important thing. Even if we know how the notes are and what notes to play, knowing the nuance and the subtleties are just, so difficult. And so it's an interesting thing. Like I've been working on some old repertoire that are anonymous repertoire that no one knows who composed. They're that old. And they're very difficult. You really have to put a lot of time to put your own signature thing on them. So there's a question here. Have you ever used harmonics in your oud playing? I saw someone do it and it was interesting. I don't really care about harmonics. I've done it sometimes, but it's just I don't know. It's not really something that I use. Yeah. There's some oud players who do this, like kind of this harmonic that changes the pitch as you go up. I don't know how to do that, and I don't really care. Like I care more about just soulful playing on the oud. And if harmonics are important, if there's a use for them, I might use them from time to time, but to me it's just kind of a gimmick. It doesn't really add much. It's not like the meat and potatoes of oud playing. It's just kind of whatever, but some people dig that kind of thing. But yeah. All right, so if that's all your questions, thanks so much for joining me today. Really nice to see you guys all. And yeah, thanks so much, and have a great rest of your Friday, and have a great weekend. It was nice seeing you, Trevor, Max Rader, Carol, Justin, Adriano. There was also, where is he? Filipos, thanks for joining. Yeah, thanks. All right, have a great weekend, and see you next time. Bye.